In this video, we're going to talk about a topic that you've maybe never heard of before or not given much thought to at least, and that's something called inflection. Some languages are very inflected languages and others are not. English is not a very inflected language, which means we don't have very much inflection in English, but we do have some. Spanish has quite a bit of inflection. And what inflection does is it allows us to be more creative with our sentence structure. It gives us more flexibility. So I mentioned in a different video that English and Spanish are both subject, verb, object languages. But I also said that Spanish is generally a subject, verb, object language. Because Spanish has a fair amount of inflection, it's actually possible to vary quite a bit from that word order. English doesn't have nearly as much inflection, and so English is pretty static. It's pretty stuck with subject, verb, object. But let's take a look at some examples of English inflection, because it does exist to an extent in English. I'm going to give you two sentences. I see John. Now let's not do I see John. Let's say I see him. And let's say he sees me. Okay, both of these sentences are subject, verb, object, just like we would expect them to be. In the first sentence, the subject is I, the verb is see, and the object is him. In the second sentence, it's the other way around. The subject is he, the verb is see, and the object is me. Notice that I and me refer to the same person. They both refer to me, of course. And he and him both refer to the same person. But we can't say, I see he, and we can't say he sees I. Those things, they make sense, we understand, but that's not the way that we say it in English. Instead, we have to inflect these words. We have to change he to him in the first sentence. And in the second sentence, we have to change I to me. Now think about what this allows us to do. It means that theoretically, we don't do this, but theoretically we could change our word order. We could say, for instance, him see I. We wouldn't say that, but since him is an object and would never be a subject, then we could understand that this would still be saying the same thing as I see him. Or maybe, and this might sound a little bit more normal to you, him I see. Who do you see? Him I see. You might say that if you were trying to sound silly or poetic or something. We would definitely not say that in normal speech, but we could theoretically say it and probably be understood. Who do you see? Him I see. That's because we have inflected these words, so the form of the word depends on the role that it plays in the sentence. Again, not something that we do much in English as far as changing the word order around, but the role that the word plays in the sentence does affect the form of the word itself in certain instances like these. Now in Spanish, that is much, much more common. And inflection goes beyond just subjects and objects. It gets into other things as well. And so the most common, of course, is the form of the verb. So even the fact that we say I see and he sees, that's a form of inflection. But there are other things as well. We talked in a different video about agreement, like noun-adjective agreement. That's inflection. Anytime we're making changes to words to show the role that they play in the sentence or to make them agree with each other, those types of things are inflection. And so even though the word inflection will not come up very often as you study language, at least not a language like Spanish, it is a key underlying factor and you should be aware that it's there. And as you learn about Spanish, don't let it surprise you to see all sorts of changes to words that basically mean the same thing.